feels... Oh, whoa! Whoa!
There you go.
Oh my God! Martin Brundle! Why on earth did you pick this challenge?
And yeah, the challenge has been thrown down that I've got to drive a car on 2 wheels. And Martin's just been telling me about this behind the scenes here, that apparently it took a very talented driver a week and a half to master. I've got about 3 hours, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
And we're here at Bedford Autodrome to see if Christian Horner can master this year's Industry Leaders Challenge for the Grand Prix Trust.
It's very easy to think that Formula One is just awash with money, but you've got to remember that over 150 teams have gone out of business. And remembering that Formula One is 68 years old, as some of the early pioneers and stalwarts found themselves in need one way or another, and indeed people who are currently in F1. We're there to help. Our strapline is getting lives back on track, and that's exactly what we do, very quietly, very discreetly. So it's great to put something back into the sport.
So how do you go about getting an Aston Martin on 2 wheels? Well, you start by enlisting the one guy who just so happens to know a thing or two about it, ultimate stunt driver and multiple world record holder Terry Grant. The only thing is, he's got just 2 hours to teach Christian everything he's learned in 2 decades.
You know, normally when I'm doing this in SUVs and things with high centre of gravity, and then there's a much smaller window of it being able to balance once it's up there. And then also you've got the power as well. We've got a lot of power in the car, and it wants to spin the rear wheel up because we're on the sidewall. So we had to calm all of that down and all of the driving. So it's all about being in control, and because it's so alien, you need to use everything that you've got to help you do that.
Terry and his crew have spent weeks getting the Aston prepared for Christian's stunt. Most of that must have been spent designing the vinyl wrap though, as the only modifications they made were cranking the diff up to 11 and pumping the tyres up to a whopping 90 psi, as well as making this thing, which is pretty much like the stabiliser wheel off a kid's bike, just a few 100 times bigger. The side effect of having this wheel here though is that we can now see just how steeply the car's going to be leaning.
It goes up a very long way, much further than you might imagine, to the point where you think it has to just fall over on its side and crash the car, but somehow it doesn't.
Even harder still than finding 5 minutes spare in Christian's diary was getting the ramp right. Normally this ramp would be flat in profile, but because the Aston is so low and flat to the ground, they've actually had to put it at an angle so that it doesn't scrape its splitter as it goes over it. So I think that really does highlight just what a difficult and unusual challenge this is, even in the pantheon of putting cars on 2 wheels. You need ninja-like reactions to defy the physics at play, flicking the wheel just enough to catch 1.5 tons of car on a contact patch smaller than the phone you're watching this on.
Oh Christ, okay. Right, no, I'm ready for this. I think we're going to do it.
That's
Very.
the right attitude.
When Superman the movie came out, they said, "You will believe a man can fly." Hopefully, in a few seconds, you will believe that a Formula One team principal can put an Aston Martin Vantage on 2 wheels.
Stay on that white line,
I hope Aston don't look under that. It was there when we got it, mate, honest.
Stay concentrating on that line. Speed up a little. Turn. Sorry, I grabbed it then, so I thought we were going to come off the edge. But when we're coming down,
Yeah.
always accelerate and steer into the way we're going, because it's nice and gentle on the car then. Especially with this, with the aluminium chassis, we don't want to bend the chassis. But as we're coming down, accelerate into it. Speed's good at the moment. Stay on that line. Turn in.
Oh, he's off. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. Maybe not. I think we're going to have to cancel that 2 o'clock.
Okay, accelerate and steer into the ramp. There you go, there you go. That is awesome. That time you got it up onto the stabiliser wheel, and then you took the stabiliser wheel off the ground.
Yeah.
And you notice we were much straighter as well.
We're calling that mission accomplished.
on.
Because you controlled it, brought it back up again.
And then that's exactly what I said, just done everything.
Are you happy with that, Terry?
Oh, really chuffed, really chuffed. Because honestly, like genuinely, most people don't get off the ramp.
Full respect. You said you'd do it, you've turned up, you have done it, you got it up on 2 wheels. Well done. Mission accomplished. You feel happier now?
It is the most unnatural thing, driving up a ramp. And then the amount the car goes over is insane. But I loved it. I thought it was cool. It was really super.
You're already getting into it,
I
isn't it?
know, it's a shame I've got to go back to the office now. Getting carried away.
Who's going to be the next industry leader challenge then? Who are you going to hand the baton on to?
I think there's only one person I can really hand this baton on to now.
And to find out who that is, tune in to the Autosport Awards on December the 2nd.
I'm thinking skydive, I'm thinking swimming with sharks, something like that.
Thanks so much for watching this video, all in aid of the Grand Prix Trust. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to make a donation, please follow the link to the Just Giving page below.